Suzuki Ignis, a car that tricks you from afar to look like an SUV. Well, it is a bit sort of, but in reality Suzuki have made this to be a city car, and today's video is all about that. Is it actually a city car, and is it any good? Let's find out. So to some of my older viewers which are watching, which actually there probably isn't any on Pocket Rockets, but I will indulge you anyway, the Suzuki kind of looks like its predecessor, well, an old predecessor of the 70s Whiz Kid. And if you don't know what the Whiz Kid is, I will put a screenshot right now showing you what it looks like. But for those that still don't know what it looks like, it represents here with the black mask and also in the C-pillar with 3 little dashes. The room in this thing is quite frankly amazing. Considering the size of the thing, yes, it is bigger than an average size city car, but Suzuki have managed to engineer it in a clever way to hide it rather well. The headroom, visibility and the storage are all on top form. For anyone over 6 foot, they can quite easily sit in this and the headroom will still be plenty. And quite frankly, I love the windscreen. It's great how they've managed to bend it more over the A-pillars so you get a better visibility. And quite frankly, I can't get over the amount of storage inside the thing. We've got door bins and lots of central cubby space along with the glove box. Plenty of room. But before I jump in back to demonstrate more of Suzuki's positives, we can more focus now on the interior since I'm in the front of the car. And before I do, I can't really complain too much about the interior because this car is very cheap and it's designed to be cheap for many reasons. But it doesn't mean that that's a bad thing, because Suzuki have managed to cram a lot of extras in here, including this familiar infotainment system that you find in pretty much anything, including the Swift Sport that I drove recently. And you also get digital climate control, safety features to name a few, like lane assist and collision, so if someone's in front of you, it will warn you before you brake. But yes, the interior itself, lots of scratchy plastics, but Suzuki have managed to one-up themselves by providing a two-tone effect inside here, which I quite like, to be fair. It kind of brightens up the mood in here. But other than that, again, it's a cheap car, so what do you expect? Another bonus while we're sitting in the front of the Ignis is the seats. The seat comfort is mega. The spongy memory foam approach that they've taken to pretty much all their range is fantastic. I mean, it really suits for long distance journeys or even when you're sitting in traffic. But the one negative thing I have to say is the bolsters in the seats aren't as hugging as they should be, so you kind of find yourself moving from left to right when you're kind of more at the limit of the car. But again, it's a side issue. The car's cheap, what can you do about it? And quite frankly, you're not going to listen to me really, but again, these are really small niggles. So moving on from the front of the car, we are now in the rear of the Ignis. And again, it continues to impress me with the amount of space that you have from the headroom to the legroom. Best way to describe it really is it's like one of those tents on the Harry Potter scene where it's small on the outside and big in the inside really, quite staggering. And when ordering an Ignis, it comes in 3 different models. It comes in the base model, the SZT, which is the mid-range, and the SZ5, which I'm currently in at the moment. With the base model, it only comes with 3 seats, but in reality, when are you ever going to seat 3 people in the back of a city car? Quite frankly, you're not. But in the mid-range and SZ5 model, you get 2 seats, as you can see, and it just allows the people that you carry in the back to have a little bit more comfort. But that's quite frankly not enough, because Suzuki have managed to craft in a little party trick that allows you to bring the seat forward and recline it forward and back to accompany more space in the boot. And on the subject of the Ignis's boot, it's adequately sized, making it not the biggest or the smallest in the competition. But to put it in perspective, the Ignis's boot is just as big as a Volkswagen Polo, which isn't too shabby. But on the model tested here, it has all grip option ticked. And if you don't know what all grip is, it's Suzuki's 4-wheel drive system. And it being 4-wheel drive, it compromises on the boot. And in this instance, it's 30% less, which if you're looking for a car with boot space, is probably not ideal to opt for the 4-wheel drive. But if you consider Suzuki's neat little party trick in the rear, where you can bring the seat forward and back and also recline how you wish, it makes it a little bit more bearable. So it's a great compromise in that sense. So overall, Suzuki have managed the impossible, making a city car look big but in reality small at the same time. It's a big thumbs up from me. But now let's go and see what the Suzuki's like to drive and see if it's got the full package. The Ignis comes in one engine variant. Yes, I know, one engine variant. You're not sport for choice, but you're not meant to be. This car is meant for city. So having a choice of engines wouldn't really work in Suzuki's favour. But the engine itself is a 1.2, or as Suzuki like to call it, a dual jet 4-cylinder petrol engine, and it produces a whopping 89 brake horsepower along with 120 newton meters of torque. Yes, I know, I'm being sarcastic. It's not exactly a great amount, but again, it's a city car. What more do you want from it? But what gets me the most is that this is an NA engine, where again they haven't opted for turbo, which is actually a good thing because it actually still produces a great amount of fuel consumption. And the fuel consumption itself that is claimed by Suzuki is a 60.1 miles to the gallon. Well, it's safe to report that I've managed, over the week of driving the car, I've managed to actually get a 57.1, or give or take around that, which isn't too much of a difference compared to the official claim statistic. And now, to help the fuel economy, Suzuki have fitted this with a mild hybrid system, or as they call it, HSVS. Don't ask me what that stands for, it's a bit of a mouthful. But instead of Suzuki using batteries like a traditional plug-in hybrid car like the Prius or even the Porsche 918, which this doesn't exactly take any design cues from whatsoever, they use batteries, but whereas this, Suzuki have managed to actually cleverly engineer something much better, which is lighter and less expensive, which is basically a generator with a belt, and works where if you're braking or you're coasting, it will get sent back to this generator and allow you to help with fuel economy. So definitely a very good engineering tool that Suzuki put together. So now we've harped on about the engine, and there isn't really much to talk about the engine. We'll move on to the driving characteristics of the Ignis. Now, any city car should have the following things in my mind: light steering, light clutch, and good visibility. And it's safe to say that the Ignis ticks all those boxes. And with an added bonus, the ride is very soft. But it's too soft in my liking, because we are now obviously on a B road. This is where I live. We have many B roads around us, and the ride's almost too soft, where it's compensating too much and creating a very crashy ride. In terms of when you're in town, you don't notice it, but with the Ignis, when you start pushing it over its limits of being a city car, that's when it starts to get bad. I.e., we have road noise, so when you start pushing the car up on its limits in terms of being on a dual carriageway doing national speed limits, you get an awful lot of tyre noise. And then when you tackle a B road, you get a lot of body roll and understeer, coupled with the light steering, which is used for cities. You can't really gauge your feel on what you're doing when you come mid-corner, or you're carrying a bit of speed into a corner. You don't really know how much steering you need. So you're kind of just constantly guessing and just hoping for the best, which is, again, negatives if you're the sort of person that's going to take this car and push it to the limit on B roads, because if you do that, you've frankly bought the wrong car. But you're not going to notice this in the city, so it's kind of not really a negative impact at all, really. And as I said before in the video, I hate to criticise this car with negative points, because really the negative points I'm giving doesn't really relate to what the car is going to be used for. This car is going to be used, as many times as I said, for city. It isn't going to be used for long distance motorway journeys or going on a B road blast. It's going to be used to be sitting in traffic and getting you out of the tight situations that cities throw across to you. So really, I can't really point any negative to this car, because it does its job very, very well. And at the beginning of this video, I've said, does it actually meet what a city car should be for? It definitely does. It really does. And I really give a good thumbs up to Suzuki for putting such a car together. It is truly remarkable. So to conclude this video, I am very impressed with this car, you can probably tell. And I'd like to say, once again, a big thanks to Suzuki for providing me with the Ignis for the week. It's been an absolute joy to drive, and I'm not just saying that being biased because I'm a bit of a Suzuki fanboy, but this car has genuinely surpassed my opinion on this being a city car. It's done its job remarkably. It's ticked all its boxes and some. So, but on another note, a big thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe as always, and generally comment down below your thoughts of the car, because I generally like to talk to people as well as just doing these videos. It's great to have feedback, and the last few videos you guys have been doing that, so big thanks for that. But yeah, I'm starting to bore you guys now, I'm waffling, but thanks for watching. Cheers guys.